Hi, welcome into Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard. Today, we're going to be getting into a 7-round mock draft. I came up with all the picks. I ran the PFF draft simulator, and if I was Mickey Loomis or I'm Dennis Allen, I'm in the war room, this is exactly what I would be doing for all 7 rounds. So just to kind of set the scene, I wanted to show what were the notable picks for the first round. So in terms of picks that I could see the Saints targeting, positional needs, or what, players that might be kind of hot names that if they fell, you maybe look interested to go get. Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. He went to the Detroit Lions. Brian Bresee, the defensive tackle from Clemson. He's been mocked a lot to the Saints, to number 21 to the Chargers. Dalton Kincaid, tight end of Utah, to the Ravens. Michael Mayer, I know I said Michael Meyer that one video, I'm sorry, but Michael Mayer, tight end Notre Dame, to the Giants. Bijan Robinson, the running back out of Texas, to the Cowboys. And who did I have the Saints taken? I've talked about him a time or two. I had him taking this guy, Calijah, Kancey. A dog, if I've ever seen one. Undersized, but he is also explosive, productive, and he's very, very strong. He has a great first step, and he can get a lot of backfield action because of how quick he is and how elite his first step can be. And I think he would be a great rotational piece for the defensive line. Next to Colin Saunders, as well as he could fill in with Nathan Shepard, I think that he would be a very interesting piece to bring into the defensive interior. And let's take a look at what he was able to do for the Panthers last season in 11 games. 31 tackles, 7 sacks, 7.5 tackles for loss, and 9 quarterback hits. And a lot of the pro comps from this guy, it's Aaron Donald 2.0, and here's why. I want you to take a look at these numbers. Calijah Kancey, height, 6'1". Aaron Donald, 6 foot and 3/4. Weight, 281 to 285. 10-yard split, 1.64 to 1.63. These two guys could not be more similar. They could not be more similar. And you know how much of an athlete and how much of a grinder and how good Aaron Donald is on a defense. I think Calijah Kancey could go do that and be a phenomenal addition to the Saints defense. Athleticism score 98 to 94. I want Calijah Kancey so bad in the black and gold, and I think he would be a phenomenal addition. So, guys, before we get to the second round pick, just want to ask you all real quick, subscribe for the best Saints coverage on the internet. We have live shows. We post videos almost every day. We have YouTube Shorts. Our community tab always popping, and I'm always here to talk about the Saints, chop it up with the Who Dat Nation. We take pride in being Saints content by Saints fans for Saints fans. So hit that subscribe button. Lock us in for all of your NFL draft, NFL free agency, all sorts of fun content throughout the year and during the regular season. All right, let's go to round 2. Notable picks. Drew Sanders, linebacker, Arkansas. It's my guy. Sorry. I know that y'all are probably LSU or Tulane fans or wherever. That's my guy. I went to Arkansas. Don't hate. Will McDonald, edge out of Iowa State. Keely Ringo, cornerback out of Georgia, to the Colts. And then Osiris Torrance, the guard out of Florida, to the Los Angeles Rams. So you might be saying, well, there's a couple guys that I like on that list, Trace. Who'd you end up taking? Here's who I took. Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Excuse me. I really like Felix, man. He's a talented cat. Literally, because he's a wild cat. He has good strength in frame, and he's far more advanced than he should be at this point in his football career. He's an excellent pass rusher, and he's a very competent run defender. He could use some work. That's not to say that he's a great one. He could use some work. That being said, he knows how to make it happen at a good level right now. So for a second-round pick, I don't hate it. Great bend around the edge and the burst to max it. And so with these two first picks, with his first and second round pick, you address defensive line, you address a defensive end, and boom, you're good to go on the defensive line. And I think you don't have to make any more moves after that. 46 tackles for Felix, 8.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and this picture of him getting at Max Duggan is elite. I mean, this kid is talented. He's a fun player to watch. The highlights speak for themselves. I wouldn't hate this guy falling to the Saints, or not falling, but landing with the Saints in the second round at number 40 overall. All right, let's talk about round 3. So I had the Dirty Bird, but the Dirty Birds in this draft took Jahmyr Gibbs. Kind of a brutal one. I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. He's Alvin Kamara 2.0. I mean, he is. He's good. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver out of Tennessee, to the Washington Commanders. Darnell Washington, I know that a lot of Saints fans want him. I wanted to include him. He goes to those chumps over at Tampa Bay. Zach Charbonnet at number 61 overall to the Bears out of UCLA. And then a cornerback out of Alabama, Eli Ricks, going number 70 overall. I had to. I couldn't let him fall another round. I couldn't. So I'm going in the third round with my guy, Tyjae Spears. Do you blame me? You better not, because he's amazing. He's a 3-down back with a lot of quality talent. And then on top of that, he does a lot of great things with the ball in his hand. He's good in open space. He is good in the pass game. He's explosive with big plays and has great production. He has nice cuts in his running, as well as he has great vision. I love what this kid can do, and I want to see what he can do in the black and gold. And honestly, tell me that it wouldn't be such a fun homecoming. It wouldn't be such a fun one. I mean, this guy's a saint. This guy is a New Orleans Saint through and through. 229 carries, 1,500 yards, almost 1,600. Are you kidding me? He was half the reason that the Green Wave was as good as they were this year. And then on top of that, he had 19 rushing touchdowns. That is tied for third across all of college football. 22 receptions for 256 yards. 2 receiving touchdowns. And before I get to my next point, I just want to tell you this. In the Cotton Bowl against the USC Trojans, he had 17 carries for 205 yards and 4 touchdowns. He had 12.1 yards per carry and a long of 62 yards. Are you kidding me? Please. I'm getting on my knees. I'm begging. Please draft Tyjae Spears, Mickey Loomis. Please draft Tyjae Spears. We need him in New Orleans. I know the Saints have Alvin Kamara. I know that they have Jamal Williams, and those are great signings. Great moves. Not moves for Alvin Kamara, but great move to bring in Jamal Williams. Go get Tyjae, man. He could be such a good piece to sit behind these 2 quality veteran running backs, and I think he would be such a good fit in New Orleans. If he managed to make it to the Saints, I'm not kidding, I would prioritize it in round 3 or 4. I'm not letting him get out of round 4 without taking him. If he's there, I don't care how much of a reach it is. I'm taking Tyjae because I just am so big on this guy. I love Tyjae Spears. Please. I can't say it enough. Please go draft Tyjae Spears. Just please. So if you want Tyjae Spears in New Orleans, join me in the comment section. Rapid fire type it. Type TS in the comment section so that way I know you want Tyjae Spears to be wearing the black and gold. And I'm probably going to go type it at least 50 times. I'm not kidding. I want him so bad. All right, let's move to round 4. Enough about Tyjae Spears. I could talk about him all day. All right, notable round 4 picks. So I had the Falcons. They took Sidney Brown, the safety out of Illinois. Hendon Hooker falls to the Green Bay Packers at pick number 78. Kind of interesting one. 84, Jordan Battle to the Dolphins out of safety Alabama. Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver at LSU. The Saints are actually at the LSU Pro Day at the time of us filming this video. Looked pretty good. Maybe his draft stock rises a little bit. I know he had some weird, off the field kind of things that were, I don't know about that, but it's a good football player. And then Henry 202, or 202, excuse me, the linebacker out of Alabama. I'm so bad with name pronunciation, guys. I apologize about that. So this might be my favorite pick in the draft. I'm not kidding. I know I was talking a lot about Tyjae, but this might be my favorite pick. I mean, Ivan Pace Jr. I need y'all, before the minute you click out of this video, I encourage you, go look at this kid's highlights. Like, watch them for 2 minutes and tell me you don't want to buy his jersey right now. Because this kid is a freaking baller. This kid is an athlete. He is a gamer. He is a game wrecker, an offensive coordinator's absolute worst nightmare. He is strong. He's tough. He seeks out contact, which is something that I love. You don't see that a ton in a lot of football players outside of those crazy guys that play linebacker. But this cat, man, I want him in a Saints uniform. He has a powerful lower body, remarkable instincts. He knows what he's looking for, and he's going to go attack it. The feet and athleticism to slip block seamlessly. He can do it whenever it's needed. And I'll tell you right now, I watched this guy take on my Arkansas Razorbacks. And because of him, he was a big reason that the Razorbacks struggled in week 1 of the college football season last year. 136 tackles, 9 sacks, 20.5 tackles for a loss, 4 pass breakups. I mean, come on, man. You're telling me you don't want this? He's 6 foot. These numbers are incorrect. He is 6'4", 221. Okay, he has a big frame. Yeah, he has a big frame. He's a wrong notes. Excuse me, wrong notes. I that's on me. That's on me. He's a talented guy. He is huge. He knows how to make it work. I would love to see Ivan Pace be on the Saints. Sorry about that incorrect information. I was looking at my notes. I had it wrong. My fault, guys. But he would fit so well in this linebacker depth chart. Let's take a look at the depth chart. Pete Werner, he's great when he's healthy. Demario Davis, we love him. He's a great football player. Zach Bond, not quite what we wanted to. He hasn't turned out to be quite what we've wanted in New Orleans, but he can be all right. He can be kind of good when he's healthy, when he makes things happen. They signed Ty Summers in free agency. DeMarco Jackson is one of your draft picks from last year. Nephi Sewell also on the depth chart. I think if you go get Ivan Pace Jr., you could fit him in and have him challenge Zach Bond for that starting spot. I think it would be really fun. And maybe not a starting spot right off the rip, but I mean, I'm not kidding, guys. Ivan Pace has the ability and the talent to go and play big football right this second. He's small, but the kid is a freak athlete. He's a freak football player, and he plays triple the size that he actually is. So, guys, whenever any of these players get drafted, they're going to be rocking one of these fresh lids. So go get geared up. Chatsports.com/Saints hat. I'll have the link for you in the comment section and in the description of this video. They got the flat bill and the gray and black. It's so clean. I'm going to be getting the ball cap. I love this curved brimmed hat. I think it's fresh. And then on top of it, they have the all blacks. It looks fresh. It looks clean. Go get geared up. Get swagged out with chatsports.com/Saints hat. Again, I'll have that link in the comment section and description of today's video. All right. So let's talk about the 5th round. I have the Saints taking the safety out of Ohio State, Ronnie Hickman, and the wide receiver, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, out of West Virginia. Great players. I would love to. I have a lot to say about Bryce Ford-Wheaton, and I know I've talked a lot, but trust me, I got more to say. But let's talk about Ronnie Hickman. 53 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 7 pass breakups, and an interception. And why I would be interested in bringing in a safety, because I want to see more depth. I would like to see somebody challenge and play quality football behind Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu. Now, I understand Tyrann Mathieu, he's on his deal. He's going to be around for a little bit, but why not bring a rookie or bring in somebody who's talented enough to produce well, but also you can have one of the best in the game coach and mentor and mold this kid into being a quality NFL starter. And then let's talk about Bryce Ford-Wheaton. He's a solid athlete, great size. He could be a really good day 3 pickup. I'm not going to lie. 4.38 40, 41-inch vertical. I mean, the kid is 6'4", 6'3", 220 plus pounds. Big frame, massive wingspan. These were the notes that I had, from earlier. Sorry about that, guys. Again, it happens. Don't yell at me. Jump ball specialist with really strong hands. Now, he has boomer bust potential. He could be, a big part of the offense moving forward, but he could also just kind of fade out and not really be much. I think that he's worth taking the gamble, especially in the 5th round. Why not? It comes to a certain point where you start going, fill team needs, fill depth pieces in, get best available. And I'm not saying that Bryce Ford is one of those players, but what I will say is I think he could be a guy that could do a lot of really good things for the Saints offense in a wide receiver room that is good, but could use more depth, if you ask me. So let me know, Who Dat Nation. I've taken more defense, taken some offense. Let me know, should the Saints focus on offense or defense in the 2023 NFL Draft? Type O for offense, type D for defense. Let me know in the comment section. I will be interacting with all of y'all when you guys get down there. All right, so in terms of who I picked with one of the 7th round picks, Saints obviously don't have a 6th round pick. They have 2 7th round picks. I went with Malik Cunningham, the quarterback out of Louisville. Why? Trace, you got Derek Carr. You brought back Jameis. Why would you need a 3rd quarterback? Because players get hurt. Players get injured. It happens. And also, he's a really good, dynamic, dual-threat guy that the production's been up and down, left and right, forwards, backwards, and a little bit all over the place. That being said, I think he could be a piece that could really, in the long run, work out, especially for a 7th round pick. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy was picked in the 7th round. So taking a gamble on a quarterback like this in the 7th, I don't see an issue with. But in terms of his stats at Louisville last year, 62.4 completion percentage, 1,500 passing yards, 8 passing touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. It's a little underwhelming. Could be better, but also could be a lot worse. I mean, at least he has above a 58% completion percentage. Shout out Anthony Richardson. Rushing attempts, 114. Rushing yards, 565. Rushing touchdowns, 12. That's nice. Yards per carry, 5 yards per carry. I think Cunningham could be an interesting guy to bring in as a depth piece. Again, 7th round pick. Why not, All right. Last pick of the draft for the New Orleans Saints. At number 257 in the 7th round, I had them taking the hometown kid, Michael Jefferson, out of Louisiana. The Raging Cajun, he was a talented player. Again, I'm just going for depth at this point. It's the 7th round. I don't think that he would be a guy who is going to push any other players off the roster, but he could be a guy to compete at training camp. He could be a guy that maybe is worth it, maybe it's not. Again, 7th round. Take a gamble. Take a pick. He's a Louisiana kid. Why not? So let's go through the Saints mock draft that I threw together for you. In round 1, I had the Saints taking the defensive tackle out of Pitt, Calijah, Kancey. Round 2, the edge rusher, Felix Anudike-Uzomah out of Kansas State. 3rd round, at 71 overall, Tyjae Spears, the running back out of Tulane. In round 4, number 115 overall, possibly my favorite pick and possibly my favorite prospect at the draft this year. Again, Tyjae was my number 1 for a while. Now it's this cat, Ivan Pace Jr. Linebacker out of Cincinnati, could be an absolute game wrecker. Hickman out of Ohio State, the safety. In round 5, you also have Ford-Wheaton out of West Virginia, Malik Cunningham, and then Jefferson as your 2 7th-round picks. So, guys, let me know in the comment section. Grade my mock draft. Maybe you loved it. Maybe you hated it. I tried to go a little bit even on offense and defense. I wanted to address the defensive line. I wanted to bring in Tyjae Spears. I wanted to bring in a linebacker, and I did all of those things early on. So let me know, Who Dat Nation. Grade my mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. Appreciate all of y'all for watching. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time.